Good morning, students. Myself Vinod Bhatti, continuing our chapter number 2, Human System. In our previous video, we have studied about the human digestive system, in which we have studied about the organs in the human digestive system. Continuing that topic, today we will study the organs one by one of the human digestive system. First of all, the human digestive system is also known as the alimentary canal system because this alimentary canal starts from our mouth and ends with our anus. As all these organs in our digestive system are attached in that alimentary canal, so it is a alimentary canal system and it is 8 to 10 meters long in the peoples. Now, the first portion of the alimentary canal means it is start from the mouth. So what is mouth? In the mouth there is a bowl shaped cavity known as a buccal cavity. In this buccal cavity we can see the bony structures which helps to chew our food, and these bony structures are known as teeth. The teeth are of 4 types: incisor, canine, premolar and molars. As the way of the attachment of the teeth in the gums, since in the jaw there are coops, in these coops the molds known as gums, here the teeth are attached, so the human beings are known as thecodont. And in the human whole life there are 2 times teeth appears. First, at the age after the 6 months of the age in the children, the teeth appears known as temporary teeth or the milk teeth, and after that at the age of 6 to 7 years the permanent teeth appears that are known as. So in the human life there are 2 times the teeth appear, so they are known as diphyodont. That is about the mouth. In the mouth there is a muscular organ known as tongue, which contains so many millions of the papillae or taste buds, which gives us different taste. There are different regions on the tongue have different taste. Means the tip of the tongue shows the sweet taste, then the upper region of the tip that shows the salty taste, then after the bitter taste, etc. Next, the pharynx. Pharynx is the wire-shaped cavity present in our neck region. Here it attaches the bowel cavity to the esophagus. This pharynx can be divided into 3 portions known as nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. The portion of the pharynx which is attached to our nose are known as nasopharynx, and the portion of the pharynx which attached to our buccal cavity or mouth known as oropharynx, and the portion of the pharynx which is attached to our voice box or the larynx, then it is known as laryngopharynx. So there are 3 portions in the pharynx. Next, esophagus. Esophagus is a long narrow pipe which transfers the chewed food from our mouth to the stomach. This is 25 cm long tube and it provides the special movement through which the food can be transported from mouth to the stomach. Actually, the different regions of the esophagus will contract and relaxes alternatively. As first portion contracts, then the lower portion will relaxes, and so the food will be forced downward. Again the second portion will contract and the third portion will relaxes, and so the second portion will force the food to move downward. In this way the food will moves downward up to the stomach, and that special movement is known as peristalsis movement. At the tip in the esophagus there is a flap which covers the esophagus, and this flap is known as epiglottis. This epiglottis prevents the food to go inside the windpipe or our trachea. Next, stomach. Stomach is a muscular J-shaped structure which facilitates the digestion of the food. Actually, the stomach contains the gastric juices which have digestive enzymes and so help in digestion of the food. And it also contains a hydrochloric acid in it, and which emulsify the food. As we take the food, the bacteria or the germs can be there inside the food. When it enters into the stomach, due to the hydrochloric acid, these bacteria and germs can be killed. during the process of emulsification of the food. Again the stomach we can divide it into three parts: the cardiac, pylorus and fundus region. The cardiac is the first region of the stomach which is attached to the esophagus and lower to the pylorus region. The pylorus region is the middle portion of the stomach which attaches to the cardiac and below from the fundus. The fundus is the lowest portion of the stomach which attaches from the pylorus from the top, and from below it is attached to a small intestine. That is the third portion of our stomach. Now there are two types of sphincters are present in the stomach. First of all, the cardiac sphincters which present between the esophagus and the cardiac region. It facilitates that once the food get inside the stomach, it will not go again up inside the esophagus. That is being checked by these cardiac sphincters. Then the pyloric sphincters. The pyloric sphincters present between the pylorus and the small intestine or the fundus region, duodenum region. Here it ensures that without digesting the food, it should not go inside the small intestine. Next is small intestine. It is a long narrow tube. It is 7-meter long tube. It facilitates the absorption of the digested food, and from that digested food the important nutrients, minerals, mineral salt, hormones, medicines, etc. are being absorbed and get mixed in the blood. It contains millions of the finger-like projections known as villi, which provides the larger surface area for the absorption. The small intestine can be divided into three portions: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Duodenum is the first region of the small intestine which connect from the fundus region of the stomach to the lower jejunum region of the small intestine. Jejunum is the middle portion of the small intestine, and ileum is the third and the last portion of the small intestine which attach the small intestine to the large intestine. Now the large intestine. Large intestine is smaller in size than as compared to the small intestine, but it is broader in size. It also contains the villi but lesser in number. It provides the absorption of the excess water and the mineral salt present in the digested food. After that, the undigested food or the waste is being taken out through an opening called as anus. The large intestine has three parts: cecum, colon and rectum. Cecum is the first portion of the large intestine which is attached to the ileum, and the colon is the middle portion of this large intestine, and the rectum is the last portion of the large intestine, and it is attached to the opening known as anus, through which the waste material is being taken out as in the form of fecal matter. Next, I have shown here the table for the digestive enzymes and what are the functions of these digestive enzymes present in our body. Now the glands or the digestive juices secreted, the enzymes secreted by them, the work and the place of their work. First of all, the salivary glands. Salivary glands it secretes an enzyme known as salivary amylase or ptyalin. This ptyalin has a function that it digest the starch present in our food into the maltose. The first digestion of the food takes place in our mouth, where the salivary amylase digests the starch. It takes place in our buccal cavity. Buccal cavity is in our mouth. Next, the second one, stomach. Stomach contains the gastric juices, and in these gastric juices, two important enzymes are present known as pepsin and renin. The pepsin will digest the protein into peptide bonds, and peptide bond is again digested by the peptidase enzyme. Next, and it get converted into the amino acids. Next, the renin enzyme digests the casein into paracasein. It performed in the stomach region. Next, after the pancreas. Pancreas secretes a pancreatic juice. This pancreatic juice can enter into the stomach in the duodenum region through a duct called hepatopancreatic duct, and from this the digestive enzyme enters into the stomach. It contains the digestive enzyme such as amylase, trypsin, chymotrypsin, lipase, nuclease, and many more. The amylase is main function to digest the starch into the maltose, and then maltose again get converted into glucose. Next, the trypsin digests the protein into peptide bonds. Chymotrypsin again same function, protein into the peptide. Lipase digests the fats present in our food into the fatty acids or monoglycerides. Next, nuclease is the enzyme digests the nucleotides, means the DNA or RNA into the nucleotide. This digestion performs in our small intestine. Next, the intestinal juices. Intestinal juices contains the enzymes maltase, lactase, sucrase, lipase, nuclease, etc. The maltase digests the maltose into glucose. Lactase digests lactose into glucose. Sucrase digests sucrose into glucose. All these are maltose, sucrose, fructose, lactase, lactose, sucrose. All these are the forms of sugars. Next, the lipase. Lipase digests the fats into the fatty acids or monoglyceride. Next, nuclease digests the nucleotide into the nucleoside or sugar. It also takes place in the small intestine region. Next, the last, liver. Liver secretes a bile juice. Liver contains a sac-like structure known as gallbladder, which secretes the bile juice. This bile juice contains the bile salt, which helps to digestion of the fats. Fats being digested into the fatty acids or monoglyceride. It also performed in the small intestine. That is the end of our human digestive system. If you have any doubt related in this topic, you can WhatsApp me. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay home, stay safe, and be healthy.